For those of you who haven't met me already, my name is Jennifer. Hi, how are you doing?
Hi.
Okay, so these are freshwater stingray, okay? Otherwise known as reticulated stingray. Sorry, slow down a bit. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Thank you. So they look a bit like pancakes, I often joke, okay? But of course nothing like that, of course, it's just the shape you can see. And their eyes are on the top or the backs of their heads here, okay? Did any of you notice little holes behind their eyes? You might see them, yeah? And on the other rays over in the other tank you might notice more easier. But the holes behind their eyes, they're actually called spiracles. Now don't worry about the name, but what their actual purpose is the water can flow into those little holes and out through their gills underneath their body, okay, to help them breathe. Yeah. Because if you realise their little raised mouths are underneath, aren't they? They're underneath the body. You see, you can't see their mouth, you can't on top, because it's hidden underneath, okay? And what happens in the sea or in the rivers, for example, with these ray, is if they were looking for food and stuff, and when they're breathing, normal fish breathe through their mouth. Sorry, so I'm trying to say, normally fish breathe through their mouths, right? So if they were to breathe through their mouth, they would suck up sand and pebbles and so on, especially in the seabed, but in the riverbeds, the sand. So that's why the water goes in through those holes called spiracles and breathing out through their gills. Now, does anybody think that they have teeth?
Teeth?
Yeah.
I think they have.
Yeah, exactly. And some people don't, because you can just see they look so soft and how nice and everything, but yes, you're dead right. And they do, because indeed they have to eat some fish, of course. And especially in the sea, for example, and I know these are river fish, but just to give you the idea, that they will look for things like, clams and oysters, and even here, of course, they still have to, break through the flesh of the fish and so on. And the other thing as well is they have quite strong teeth, okay? So like I said, a lot of them, especially I'm talking about more so now, obviously the ones that live in the sea, but they will have very strong, similar to our molar teeth, flat teeth to help them break open those shells or help them bite into the fish. These ray, well, some of them were obviously from other aquariums, but also some of them we had here had some babies. And back in March of 2012, we had 12 or 13 babies, or we had 13 babies altogether. And they're spread a bit around the aquarium, but some of them are here as well. And the other thing as well to tell you that if they raise their tail, if they're a little bit frightened or threatened, that's they're showing their aggression, okay? That's their way of defense. But they very rarely raise their tail up, okay? And they only do that if they're really, as I said, frightened, okay? And they will very rarely sting you, okay? They do have a sting, but it wouldn't kill you or anything. It'll still be a little bit sore, of course, but you won't, die from that. The only one you could die from is the likes of the stingray we have in our second the second last big tank in the centre. And that's only if it caught in, for example, a major organ like the heart, okay? Some of you be familiar with that poor man who died there a few years ago.
Yeah,
Steve
Irwin,
yeah. So I knew him more for the crocodile.
I loved him, I did.
Yeah, he was great, but unfortunately he took a lot of risks and he did die, I'm afraid, from
he liked to live dangerously, the reptiles and everything.
But otherwise they're very docile creatures. Now I'm going to give them some food, sorry now. And so I'm just going to give them some sand eel, okay? They look very nice, they love that.
Sand eels?
Yeah, so sand eel is what they're going to eat, okay? So yeah, that's their food.
It's awful, yeah.
Just don't touch the raw fish, okay? Sand eel, huh? Sand eel. Sand eel. Eel, like little eels cut from sand, okay? From the beach, yeah.
Do you go out and fish for them? Do you actually go out and get those?
Oh, well no, we get it delivered. We get it from places, probably like people like from Hope and stuff, bring it to us.
So are they eels?
Yes, they are baby eels, yeah.
Oh, they are?
No, they don't, you're right, they don't actually, and I know you probably think they're going to eat a huge amount, but no. So let's have a look, and you can see them in fact.
Sorry.
They smell also, they smell the food, of course, the raw food, and they also sense our muscular movements around us. So if you're still visiting the aquarium this evening and you haven't seen the rest of the aquarium, or even if you want to go back for a few minutes, we're open till 6, and you can see the second last tank, I'm talking to you in particular because it's more easier to access them, okay, because I know these are low, but you can reach over. And the big tank in the middle where we have all the big sort of thornback rays, and there's the alley, the big stingray. Well, if you rub your hands over the tank, I haven't said people, because they feel your body heat and they feel your body movements and your muscular movements. They sense it, okay, like sharks. They have a sort of an electromagnetic sense, if you like, and that's how they sense other living organisms in the water. And it's usually on the tip of their nose or the front of their face there, basically. So you see, they're quite happily looking for this. Now I try to obviously throw it a little bit near to them, because otherwise they will... Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it does, you're right, it doesn't look like a lot, but it is enough. Don't worry, we definitely give them enough, we know how much you need them. Now I don't precisely, but like...
so many in there.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but we can make sure, you see the bigger guys will get a few more, but the small bites we can But most guys will get enough. If they really didn't, I mean, I still have an eye on what they're doing. And obviously, if I see that little one doesn't get anything at all, I make sure I give some more, you know. We're not going to be that mean, okay? We're going to make sure they all get a bit as well.
Oh, okay, that's okay. Okay.
And it's the same even with our sharks as well. I know we're not anywhere near the sharks now, but just to let you know we're there again as well.
Oh, okay.
But sharks are related to ray. Did any of you know that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did, yeah.
because they don't have any bones in their body, okay? And ray here are made up of what we call cartilage, which is similar. Now I can't wiggle my ears with this in my hands, but if you can wiggle your ears or feel the material, sorry, the kind of muscle in your earlobe, okay? And similar to what they have in their body, so it makes them nice and flexible. They still have a lot of strength. And sharks also, as I said to you, have a lateral line of which where they feel also living muscles or organisms in the water, moving in the water as well, which makes them very good hunters as well. And these are also native to countries like Brazil. So we have, of course, our red-bellied coral down below, which are coming from the Amazon, South America, and African countries. You can feel the heat in here, and obviously it's the heat from water, you know, heating the tank as well. But we will need to keep the water at about 20, 23 degrees Celsius, approximately. Underneath, yeah, it's kind of hard to see. And actually, if you want as well to walk around the side, you can see through the glass pretty better, to be honest with you. You can see their face then as well. Even afterwards, you can have a look at that. You'll see them quite a lot better as well. Unfortunately, you can only see the top of them really here.
I didn't know that, well. Wait, I didn't know that.
No, yeah, now you know.
Okay.
Well, now hopefully you can see now things as well, okay?
I can see what?
You can see them as you go around. See where the glass is there, the kind of plastic glass you walk around. You can have a look at that as well.
Okay.
You can see their mouths now.
Okay.
I'm going to throw it over that way, so they can swim over that way as well.
Everything. Oh, I didn't know. That's okay.
So they're really peaceful. They're also camouflaging, which I probably forgot to say, but you can see that I'm sure yourself. You see they're almost the same colour as the rocks. Okay, that's obviously we do that on purpose here. But in the wild they would be, you know, they'd almost hide in behind the rocks and you wouldn't nearly see them, you know. And as well under the sand. You see even how this one's kind of shuffling now? That gives you a better idea how, for example, the cownose rays will do the same. They will do that, they will kind of raise their fins and flap their fins in unison together as a group to actually look for their food, you know. Under the sand as well.
The mother stage they're young then, do they? The baby stage, the mother stage, the baby stage.
I mean, they're in their egg cases, they lay them. I know there's much egg cases they lay them. Now I know the sharks kind of mean the sharks, the big sharks depend on the born. I'm not sure. I'll find out if that's okay. Yeah, in a few minutes, I can let you know.
Imagine that they wouldn't mind the baby.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of species.
So, yeah, sharks, I think sharks don't. I know they mind the eggs, but those things to say here, I'm not sure if they do when they're actually born. I know the sharks.
They do from that.
Yeah, that's true, I know. But you never know. Yeah. I will find out. I will find out. Pardon me?
Whales mind their baby.
Yes, yeah, I know.
They're mammals, they're totally
Yeah,
real.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. But you know a lot of this stuff. Are you working with them or just? Yeah, there is some of us. No, you can see these even every day. I know it seems like a lot, but I mean, I know next to my colleagues who have more experience, they know, they lay out and make sure they have
Very
it.
good question. What is different about the size of every animal?
Well, one, I'd say they don't have a brain. Two, I'd say that they can regenerate their limbs, for example.
Yeah, very good. What is that to you? They're made with silicone.
Oh, right, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like carbon.
Oh, yeah.
Capable of making the same connection. All the neurons we have in our bodies, you know, all carbon made carbon based. They're silicone based.
Oh, thank you. There you go, I'm learning now, so. Okay. Now, I will ask Ashley though about that question with the babies. It's interesting to know. Because I have seen the baby cases of the ray. I've never actually seen the baby. Well, I've seen young rays, and it's a baby ray, if you know what I mean. We have like a young ray who's like 4 or 5 months old, but we have them at a separate time, so probably that answers your question actually, that they don't need to be beside the mother. So, well, they usually mind in the wild is another question. So, yeah, they're eating quite slowly tonight, aren't they? I noticed sopranos sometimes about 6 or 7 months ago, they were kind of actually hungrier, so we made sure we gave them more, you know, and sometimes you just have to adapt, you know, yourself, you know, see if they're, you know, eating more or less or something. And I remember we have sea bass. We used to have sea bass actually, which were fabulous. And they were really big, you know, they're really, really nice. But we have to get rid of them, unfortunately, because the sharks they were with as well. They're all getting really big good times, you know. And it's where the poor
sharks are easier on
well, that's a good question. You know the big tank I'm talking about there actually is the one where the 4 cow-nose ray are. And we took it out because we have that ray, that tank empty, okay? To give them more space and obviously it's nice for people to look at. But as well, because when they were in the ocean, have you seen the last time? Yeah, all the sharks and stuff. One of them actually bit them trying to eye. And we only have them a year and a half there, so we have to kind of, it was kind of helpful that we could move them as well.
Yeah, so there is a danger.
Yeah, definitely. Oh no, not to me. But still, you want to keep an eye because it was actually very close and there was a big gash now. And I have to say, like a heel hurt as well, but you still see the scar like a year ago, you know? Yeah. So, also sometimes you might think sharks are being bitten, but they are actually mating as well. So that's something I learned recently myself. So the female shark might have a bite kind of looking and bleeding on her sort of her fin, and that is actually the male shark trying to mate her, okay? So that's what's happening there. Yeah, definitely have that.
Oh, sorry. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
See, that feels horrible.
Oh, this sounds here. Yeah, well, I'm kind of used to it now.
Wash your hands after that.
Yeah, of course, later it looks for sure, yeah.
They aren't alive, so they're not. They're dead.
No, they're dead, yeah. I know. See, that's the thing as well. People a lot think the sharks actually prefer to eat dead kind of fish as well, or injured fish as well. But if you think about it, it's like less work for them as well to hunt kind of animals that are really injured or dead. They're kind of easier prey if you like as well.
What else do they eat besides the that's the only thing they eat?
Squid, herring, mackerel, sprash. They're some of the kind of oilier fish they have. Yeah, especially oily fish. They like oily fish. Fortunately for them, unfortunately for us. I'm sure it doesn't matter. It'll be all the same anyway for us. No.
Yeah, I'm good with salmon now. They must be getting meal time now.
They must be what, sorry?
They must be finished their meal time. Turn their goals up their food.
I know.
How many times a day do they get fed?
Well, once only actually.
Once, is it?
Yeah, because some of the fish, I have to think about it, we do also come from feed for people, but then we also feed them as well ourselves, and we're not being shopping at them as well. Yeah, it only once a day really. So the carp gets fed twice a day, but then again, you see we divide the food in half, so obviously that's another thing as well, that fish obviously eating it, yourself and indulge or whatever, you can overfeed them, so obviously people don't be trying sometimes like, feeding them those, or as well smaller fish, a smaller amount and more often then again, we can go fish at home and huge, so we kind of said, right, we're feeding every second day now, you know.
Yeah, so much
So, sorry.
There's nice music in the background.
Yeah,
Lovely music.
Now, to be honest, recently, because we kind of put it on
What is it?
I'm not sure. I have to ask my colleague now.
It's nice soothing music.
Yeah,
you know?
that's the idea, hopefully, something relaxed.
Are they into, do the mammals like mind the music, or does it annoy them?
Ah, no, they wouldn't mind that. They would probably like it, they wouldn't imagine, but yeah. Bottom line, because this place gets quite noisy at times too.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll be fairly quiet, but I'm not really at the end of the day. In their native countries. Yeah, I did forget to mention in their native country they actually are fished quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
So unfortunately these are, well, I suppose it's normal. It's like ray. We used to eat ray as well quite a lot here in Ireland. And a lot of it was overfished, a bit like sea bass and cod.
Yeah.
Probably, I don't know. I know myself I love some cod, but it is one of the fish that is overfished, So unfortunately it's the same with these guys here in their native country. So and even the cow-nose ray, in America especially, they kind of hate them because they, obviously I can understand to some extent, they destroy the oyster beds, They love oysters, and if they flock in their cows, as you can imagine, they're going to do a bit of damage in fairness. But look, at the end of the day, I also think out in some ways, I understand where they're coming from, but then I think, hold on, the fish was there first, it's their food, and it's come on their home at the end of the day. We can survive on other things as well. So. Yeah, very calm and docile, I really like the cow-nose ray especially. And I think it's especially since they've moved into the tank on their own, because you can maybe see them closing, whereas before they're kind of in all the rest of the So that's great. Aisling, sorry to bother you again, but I just had a question here, which I kind of answered myself, and I'm not sure the ray, if they look after the babies when they're born, but they don't really be young way down the estuary, they can survive right now. They
Yeah, they wouldn't actually look after the babies. Once they're born, they're basically on their own. Yeah.
Do they recognise that they're their babies?
I wouldn't think so. Because they would tend to all the females would tend to give birth around the same time. So I doubt that they'd be able to recognise them. They'd more like be on their own. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, sure.